Hello YouTube, how are you? It's been a little while. I didn't quite get a video up last week like I had hoped to or planned to. It is the 20th of November. I will probably be uploading this video on the 21st of November. So we are 3 weeks into November and very much nearing the end of the month, which is kind of scary. At this point I've written 37,592 words, and I think for the very first time since like day one of NaNoWriMo I'm actually over the suggested word count, which is pretty awesome. I've been lagging behind most of November, but I've made quite an effort lately, like this past week, to really catch back up. Last Sunday I wrote 9,000 words, which was my most in one day. I've had to make it a little bit easier for myself because I was finding it quite hard to meet the word counts. So I ended up changing one of the characters' careers from something that I didn't really know anything about to being a teacher. It's not Libby, it's just one of the other kind of mainish characters. Just so that I found it a little bit easier to write about, because I was finding she was a lawyer and I was finding that I was having to do too much kind of investigating to figure out what her daily work life might have been like, and it was just kind of too time consuming. So for the purposes of NaNoWriMo, I'm trying to keep my characters similar to what I know, like in careers that I know or I have friends that do, those kind of things, just to give it just to make it a little bit easier for myself. When I'm writing, I don't have to do as much research. Obviously, if I had planned to do NaNoWriMo a little bit before the 30th of October, I probably could have ventured out into different careers and things like that and done a little bit of research beforehand, but I was nowhere near that organised. So I'm just sticking to what I know for this month, and then if I choose to carry on with this novel or edit it or write another one, then I can kind of branch out from there. I've also made it a little easier on myself in the sense that when Kate, this character, has changed careers in my head, I haven't gone back and edited the earlier chapters where I've brought it up. It was really only like in conversation. I hadn't really like delved into her character much earlier on, so I'll go back one day and like fix up the word here or there so it don't make sense. But at the moment I made that decision. I'm like, cool, now she is a teacher and not a lawyer, and I've just kind of gone from there. As far as the editing goes, that can wait till December, January, and I'll deal with it then. My writing process has been quite interesting actually. I thought that I would be sort of more of a write the 1,600 words each day that was recommended, but I've definitely been writing more in chunks. I'm not writing for 2 days and then I'll write 3,000 or something, and then maybe 1,000 the next day, and then nothing for 2 days, and then 5,000. It just seems to be how it's working for me. I find it a lot easier to write when I'm in that cycle. So for example, on that Sunday I knew exactly what I was writing and I just kind of went on and on, and I'd have breaks and I went and did some gardening and all those kind of things, but the story was constantly in my head during that time. Whereas I find when I'm writing little bits every day, you've got that initial time that it takes to get yourself into that world. And I find the first half an hour when I'm writing, I'm not really writing much, like maybe 300 words, which is not, for me that's not a lot for half an hour. So it definitely takes a little bit longer for me to get into the flow, and then once I'm there I can just kind of power through and write quite a lot. I probably wrote those 9,000 words in about 4 or 5 hours. So I can write when I want to. When I get in the flow, it's coming quite nicely, but it's definitely a bit chunky. I've also written the start and the end of my novel so far, and the last 10,000 words is a bit in the middle. It's probably about like 3/4 the way through, but it's mostly the middle chunk that I'm still missing. Not because I don't know what I want to happen, I do, but it's a little more awkward to write about, I guess. One of the characters commits suicide in this novel, and I'm still got to write that scene, and that I've written about her funeral and I've written about some of the aftermath, but I haven't written about the suicide itself. So I'm still a little like hesitant. I guess I'm procrastinating writing that scene because I'm not quite sure how I want to go about it. My target audience for this novel is teenagers and young adults, so I think it's just a bit of a touchy topic that I'm a little bit cautious about writing. So if you have any experience in writing about suicides or writing a suicide scene, then please leave me a comment or send me a message if you have any advice about how to do that. So we have 1 week left of NaNoWriMo, and I have about 12,500 words left to write, which I think I'm going to be able to do. It's not great. Like, as I said in my first video, if it's coherent and I'm happy, that's still my goal. If I can manage to blend all these pieces together, because I haven't written it from start to end. So if I can manage to flesh this out and actually join all my bits together, then I'll be pretty happy. I think this is more of a challenge for myself than for anyone else, or for the sake of publishing this or anything like that. I don't have grand expectations, but it's kind of nice to challenge yourself sometimes and to come out of it and be like, hey, I did that, I can do something like that. And I think that's quite rewarding in itself, and I had that when I did my master's degree. I didn't need to do it, I could have got a job without it, but it's quite a nice personal challenge to just kind of push yourself a little bit further and see what you can handle. I think that I'm still better at editing than I am at writing itself. Perhaps I have more practice when it comes to editing. I haven't written a whole lot of fiction in my life, so maybe that will just kind of grow as I do it more. I'm finishing teaching in 3 weeks, and then I am launching my own business as a freelance editor and writer. So this has been a great experience for me as far as learning more about fiction writing and novel writing, and seeing, I guess, if maybe being an author is my true calling. We'll see. For now I'm sticking to editing, but hey, you might find my name around one day as some famous author, who knows. So 3 weeks down, 1 to go. Wish me luck. If you too are writing this month, then my best wishes to you. I hope that it's going well, and then you can make that 50,000 words by the end of the month. Thanks, bye!